Hey YouTube, this is Cute Gamer Guy. Yes, I know my screen name is a little weird, but I try to keep it close to something I know of as far as my screen names go, so that I don't lose my accounts. Because I've made a YouTube account or two in the past, and that's happened. So I picked whatever I felt was necessary. Um, Now, this is my reaction to the Resident Evil 6 trailer. I'm totally excited for it. I mean, I love the series. Yeah, 5 was more action than horror. I mean, I really didn't feel the horror in 5, but the story was there and the characters and everything. So I think that although 5 didn't have the horror aspect, it did have the story element and everything else. So I guess it doesn't bother me that much. But I know it was originally a horror game, and I'm glad to see that Resident Evil 6 is going back to that, and that it's actually mixing with action. So yeah, so because there's three different scenarios, and Leon and his new partner Helena look like they'll have the more horror aspect, while Chris takes on the action aspect with his partner Beard. And the third guy, he's not known, but the girl is known to be Sherry. So, and I'm pretty sure it is her because looking at a picture of her and looking at a picture of Ashley, the girl on the trail looks nothing like Ashley Graham. And Ashley Graham has already confirmed on Twitter that she will not be in the game, or at least her voice actress, Carolyn Lawrence. Also, Claire's voice actress, Allison Court, has confirmed that she will not be in Resident Evil 6. So there's no way that Claire or Ashley would be in the game. And Ashley looks more like Hilary Duff. The girl in the trailer does not have that look to her. Because even if she changes her hairstyle, her face would still look the same. Since she has light brown eyes, big ears, and well, a big nose. The girl in the trailer, her nose is smaller than Ashley's. Her ears are smaller. Her eyes are blue. And her hairstyle it matches Sherry's, only that now Sherry's 10 years older since the time of Resident Evil 2, when she was 12. So that will make her 22. And I'm going to guess that if she's 22 and all, the game has to take place after Resident Evil 5, like maybe right after. And yes, Resident Evil 5 did take place in the year of 2009, but as far as the story goes, the Raccoon City disaster did not happen until the September of 1998. So, as long as it's before September, it can still be 10 years later, and it'll be 2009 in the story. But if it goes up to September, then that's 11 years. So, as long as it's before September 2009, it's still 10 years. Because there's 12 months in the year, so any month less still counts it as within 10 years. Um, and yes, I'm aware that Resident Evil 1 takes place in July of 1998, but they're talking about the Raccoon City incident, not the mansion incident. So you have to go by Resident Evil 2 and 3 in this case. Um, so I'm not going to speculate about who the guy is. Like, yeah, he might be Alex Wesker because they imply that he's related to one of the major characters of the game, and the way he moves has that Wesker feeling to it. But I'm not going to speculate, but I do know that that scenario there will be survival because Leon's, it looked like it had some action in it, but it was definitely horror. Chris was definitely action. And the third one, it looked like they were just trying to survive rather than fight more. So I say that the third one is probably the survival scenario. Um, and why Ashley wouldn't make sense for the game is, yeah, she would want to know her why is her father dead, like what happened, how he was attacked and all. But Sherry, her parents created the G virus, William and Annette Birkin. So because of that and all, even though they died in Resident Evil 2, they never really had closure, and Sherry could give them the closure that they need. There's also the fact that since they created the G virus and all, that gives them that dark history. So I just don't see Ashley fitting that description. Besides, if I remember right, after playing Resident Evil 4 a few times, it was clear enough to show that Ashley wasn't really much of a fighter. Like, yeah, she randomly threw things, but she wasn't really much of a fighter because she couldn't do anything on her own other than scream out for Leon. And most of the time, you had to stand there and watch over her. So she was more of a liability than an asset in this case. So I don't think she would have changed because she was a college student. I mean, if you read the Resident Evil 4 manual book, it says Ashley Graham, the daughter of the U.S. president, was on her way home from her college in Massachusetts when she was kidnapped and taken to Europe. So she didn't even go to Europe on her own. She was kidnapped and taken there. Um, if she didn't want to leave on her own, I doubt she'd want to leave the country willingly. But Sherry, think she would because the whole thing about the virus tore her family apart. So she would want to end it or get rid of the virus, any traces left of it. And judging by what the girl in the trailer says, that sounds more like Sherry than Ashley. And the girl does sound similar to Ashley, but their voice actresses are two different people, and Sherry is older, so she's not going to sound like a 12-year-old girl anymore because she is not 12. She's in her 20s. Whether it's early, whether it's late, depending on when the game takes place, she's in her 20s, so she's far from being 12 or 10. So that's something that you really have to take into consideration when trying to figure out which character is which, because Ashley was already an adult. Because when you go to college, you're usually like in your early 20s, late teens. So Ashley would be somewhere close to 30 right about now if the game does take place, or at least 25, taking place 10 years after Raccoon City. And that's as much as I know for my reaction. And if you don't believe me, you don't have to take my word for it. Just look at screenshots for yourself. Decide. Matter of fact, like I have a PS3, so if any of you are on PSN, send me your screen names or your PSN IDs, and I will send you screenshots personally of Ashley and Sherry to show you why the girl in RE6 can't be Ashley. But the trailer did show a good mix of horror, action, survival. I don't get scared easily, and a lot of other people who've played Resident Evil before, I'm pretty sure by now we all know we don't really get scared easily. I mean, if anything, maybe Resident Evil 3 gets some reaction on me, but that's only because Nemesis pops out of nowhere, and that is kind of scary in itself. But William and everything else, not so much, because I played the game so much that it's like, I already know what's going to happen. It doesn't really impact me as much as it used to when I was younger. And I'm only 21, so I've been playing the game since I was about 8, around the time that Resident Evil 3 was released. But I did go back and play the older ones afterwards, and then been playing them, and yeah, I played through 4, I played through 5. So I watched Degeneration, and I watched all the live action movies, and although they're horrible as video game film adaptations, on their own they're pretty good action movies. So, but this is my take on the Resident Evil 6 trailer. I think It looks good. I'm glad that Capcom has kept it secret for so long and finally revealed it. I mean, the best way to develop a game is to keep it secret and then um, reveal it when it's almost ready, because if not, then you're spending more time talking to the media about what your plans are and not developing. And the fact that this has a team of over 600 people, yeah, there's probably other games that have bigger teams, but that is a big number for Resident Evil because I'm sure all the teams have been smaller compared to now. So, I mean, I'm glad to see that they were working hard. It looks like the game might deliver. Well, I'm not gonna give my hopes up, but I do have high hopes for it, and I'm not gonna expect too much out of it because, yes, it's not the old traditional survival horror, but it is still horror nonetheless. And I'm glad to see that Resident Evil 6 has gone back to some of its roots like they actually said it would. You know, bringing back zombies, the horror feeling. It's all there. I definitely saw it in the trailer. But these were all like 3 second clips of some of the gameplay mechanics, so the feeling wasn't there as far as the trailer, except for maybe the first minute and a half. But I'm pretty sure that while you play it, you'll feel the impact of it. And this was only a reveal trailer, so we can't really judge what the full game will be like. We can only speculate. But from what the trailer shows, it shows 3 different scenarios. Looks like they're all blending together. And what the full gameplay might, I'm pretty sure we'll have the sections like one taking place after another, as far as chapters and arrangements, but they all take place around the same time, so the stories will all intertwine, definitely. They just we just gotta see how it'll play out.